Let's dive right into it. Ever met someone who's so good at lying that they actually start to believe their own story? It's a bizarre phenomenon, right? Some call it pathological lying, while others just see it as pure delusion. And that's exactly where Alec Baldwin's wife, Hilaria Baldwin, Hillary from Boston, fits into the picture. Here's the crazy part. She was once a yoga instructor who managed to convince everyone she was from Spain. Seriously, she pulled off this whole foreign persona for years, even stumbling over how to say cucumber in English. But reality check. She's not some enchanting Spanish socialite. She's Hillary Hayward Thomas, born and bred in Massachusetts. Not a single day of full-time living in Spain. You've got to admit, keeping up that act takes some dedication, or maybe just a touch of obsession. Now picture this. Alec Baldwin, once a well-respected actor, now starring in a reality TV show with his wife on TLC called The Baldwins. It's almost surreal watching this whole new version of them unfold on screen. And in one episode, Hilaria, or Hillary, finally decides to address the backlash. She's out there explaining how having multiple cultural influences can make fitting in a real challenge. Sure, we all know what it's like to feel out of place, but most of us don't go as far as completely reinventing our identity to cope. She even talks about how some people naturally code switch, blending in without even thinking about it. But let's be real, there's a difference between adapting and fabricating an entire backstory. Imagine dedicating years to perfecting an accent, adopting new traditions, and convincing everyone around you that you're a completely different person. That's not just blending in, that's living a whole other life. And here's the kicker. She claims she's just misunderstood and wants people to see her for who she truly is. But that's where it gets confusing. Who is she, really? The devoted mom and wife? The yoga instructor with an accent that doesn't add up? Or just Hillary from Boston who couldn't quite separate fantasy from reality? It's messy, it's weird, and it's kind of mesmerizing. But it makes you think, how far would you go to reinvent yourself? At what point does it stop being self-expression and start crossing over into pure fabrication? This is Jordan, and you're watching True Story. Stay tuned for more scandals and stories that make you question everything. Let's get one thing straight. There's a big difference between admiring a culture and straight up fabricating your identity, and that's where Hillary from Boston crosses the line. She's not some alluring Spaniard with a fascinating past. Nope. She's just your typical American girl from Massachusetts whose family took the occasional trip to Spain. That's it. Her parents didn't even relocate there until she was already an adult. Not exactly the multicultural upbringing she's been selling, huh? We all have our little quirks and influences, sure, but Hillary takes it to a whole new level when she talks about being multicultural, almost like she's editing her own story. Growing up, I always knew Thanksgiving was all about turkey, mashed potatoes, and maybe even a whole roast pig on the side. It wasn't about pretending to be something I wasn't, it was about blending traditions in a genuine way. Meanwhile, Hillary's out here living a character, kind of like how Tom Hanks' son Chet decided he was from the islands one day. Same vibe, different fantasy, and here's where it really gets bizarre. Hillary has the audacity to compare her fake accent to speaking slower for an elderly person. On The Baldwin, she tries to justify it by saying it's like when you naturally slow down your speech for someone who's hard of hearing. Really? That's not code switching. That's just being polite. Actual code switching is when you adapt your way of speaking based on who you're around, like when I mix English and Spanglish with my Miami friends. It's not about crafting an entirely new persona. What's even more mind-boggling is that she claims she had to learn about code switching because everyone was so mean to her. Come on. There's a huge difference between being called out for faking your background and genuinely navigating multiple cultures. One is about staying true to who you are, and the other is about clinging to a fantasy like it's your ticket to authenticity. In the end, it feels like she's just playing a role, desperately holding on to a fabricated identity that's falling apart. It's not about blending in. It's about bending reality. And as she tries to defend herself from feeling misunderstood, it makes you wonder. Misunderstood for what exactly? For living a lie so convincingly that even she started to believe it? This is Jordan, and you're watching True Story. Stay tuned for more scandals that make you question what's genuine and what's just a well-crafted act. Alright, let's get real for a second. There's nothing wrong with embracing where you come from or even adapting your style to fit in. That's basically what code switching is. Changing up how you speak so you blend in without drawing too much attention. Take Michaela Noera, for instance. She's a Boston native through and through, rocking that heavy Boston accent like it's nobody's business. But if she wants to, she can easily switch to a neutral, standard American tone. That's code switching, being flexible without losing your essence. But then there's Hilary from Boston. She wasn't just born and raised in Massachusetts, she grew up eating cucumbers, not pepinos. Yet somehow she's out here giving her kids Spanish names like she's hosting a little cultural expo. This isn't about blending in, it's about making herself stand out, turning herself into some kind of exotic mystery. Instead of sticking to being Hillary Hayward Thomas from Boston, she's reinvented herself as Hilaria because it sounds intriguing and different. That's not code switching, that's straight up identity theater. And now that reality TV has her soaking up all that attention, she's just digging deeper into the act. The wild part? She's still playing the victim, claiming people are being unfair just because she's in the public eye. Apparently, no one ever gets used to the criticism, except she keeps saying she's already used to it. It's like she's trying to convince herself as much as anyone else. The truth is, nobody's giving her grief for being famous. They're calling her out for putting on an act that just doesn't hold up. Real multicultural people know how to juggle different worlds without faking it, while she's out here crafting an illusion just to seem more captivating. And you know what? I'll be real with you. Negative comments don't faze me. Honestly, I kind of enjoy them. The more people talk, even if it's trash, the more the views pile up. Attention is attention, after all. I guess that's one thing I share with Hilaria, just minus the whole manufactured identity vibe. This is Jordan, and you're watching True Story. Stay tuned, there's always more to uncover when reality and make-believe collide.